All right, founder shares. There's a lot of different kinds of shares that you hear about when talking about company ownership. One of those is what people refer to as founder shares. Essentially, that means that whenever someone is forming the company, or they're the first people to incorporate or create the company, they are the founders, they generally will split up the equity ownership of the company. When they do so, if it's share creation inside of a corporation, they'll split those shares amongst one another. So that's what founder shares are. It's the shares that are created at the very beginning of the company as it's incorporated. The important thing here is if you're a founder, your name's going to be on those legal documents somewhere in incorporation, and you'll end up with some percentage ownership of the company. You'll end up with shares. Of course, there can be more than one founder, and they don't have to be the CEO. Those things lead to how the company is split up, sort of those relationships. So let's look at an example for Hasselhoff Incorporated here. There are 3 founders for Hasselhoff Incorporated. They go fill out the documents involved in incorporation, and their names are going to appear as either officers or directors inside those documents. And the lawyer creates shares, and these founders decide amongst themselves that they're going to get, founder number 1 is going to get 40, number 2 is going to get 40, and number 3 is going to get 20. So that's before investment. That adds up to 100% of the company. These guys own founder shares. That's what happens. Those are the original shares. Now let's say later they decide to take on an investor and they issue more shares. In that case, the investor may come in and invest a bunch of money, and after the investment, founder number 1 only owns 20%, number 2 owns 20%, number 3 owns 10%, and the investor ends up with 50. Let's say that's the math involved. That's fine. That's great that they brought on an investor. These shares are not founder shares. These are the new shares that were created for the investment. That's the difference. Founder shares are the shares that are created at incorporation and that are split amongst the original founders.